Former President Donald Trump flew into a rage Tuesday night after the Colorado Supreme Court issued its shocking decision to ban Trump from the state ballot over what happened on January 6th. So, taking to
Truth, essential.
The former president started first by reposting a bunch of people who said opinions that he liked. For example, Laura Ingraham, who claimed, "Tonight, America is seeing the ultimate in election interference." Trump then quoted another Fox News clip, writing, "It is not good for our country at all." Yes, that's right. Holding people accountable is not good for our country at all. Oh, lovely. He captioned another Fox News clip and wrote, "They don't want the voters to decide this. There's obviously the deep fear of Donald Trump potentially winning the White House back." He then released a fundraising email which read this: "The Soros-funded Democrats," of course, you got to mention Soros, right, "behind this vicious lawsuit will immediately use a ruling to challenge us in the remaining 49 states. Crooked Joe and the Democrats know they can't beat us at the ballot box, so their new plan is to nullify every single Trump ballot in the nation to keep Biden in the White House. A ruling party is attempting to amass total control over America by rigging the election against its leading opponent, who happens to be a political outsider committed to defending the needs and interests of hardworking Americans. If you're doing poorly due to the very corrupt Democrats, who would rather try to eliminate my name from the ballot than actually left," yes, that's right, left a finger, sure he meant lift, "to help our country, please do not donate it this time. I mean it." That's how you know he wrote the statement. Immediately, first off, he mad. Very much so. And decided to, voice his displeasure in a way to help him raise money. Okay, all right, classic Trump grift. Okay. And secondly, I got, what does this have to do with Joe Biden? Crooked Joe Biden. By the way, I thought it was sleepy. Now it's crooked because apparently that worked really well with Hillary Clinton. So now I'm calling him Crooked Joe Biden. He didn't have anything to do with this. He didn't make the decision. He doesn't control the Colorado Supreme Court. Okay, he didn't appoint any members of the Colorado Supreme Court. Okay, he is not all powerful, and I thought the majority of Trump voters thought Biden had no mental faculties left. So how can he be both someone who has dementia, cognitive decline, and at the same time is a scheming anti-democratic authoritarian mastermind? Doesn't make any sense, does it? No, of course not. And as I mentioned, George Soros, right? He had to throw that in because, of course, no rant is complete without the billionaire Jewish boogeyman. That's right. Here's the thing, though, about this ruling. I really didn't expect it. This is kind of a shock. So what happened is that the court found that Trump had engaged in insurrection by inciting the Capitol riots. Now, this actually tracks with the lower court ruling. So that lower court ruling found that, yeah, Donald Trump did, basically engage in insurrection, but found that presidents are not subject to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment because they're not an officer of the United States. So there's a lot of, been a lot of legal disagreement on whether or not the president can be barred from office if they engage in what is considered to be insurrection. So, look, for me, I think the answer to that should be no, this should not be allowed if they engage in insurrection. What are you thinking, right? But again, they went down to, is he technically an officer of the United States? Well, look, there are political candidates that have been barred from getting on the ballot thanks to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. So if you could do it to lower office seekers, I don't see how this wouldn't apply to the highest office in the land. That would just make sense, right? So the Colorado Supreme Court, in a 4-3 decision, said, no, actually, it does apply to the president. And so because it applies to the president, we're going to have to follow the Constitution here and get rid of him, get him off the ballot. Again, both the courts agreed. Yes, this was insurrection, and yes, Trump was involved. That's it. They had to follow the Constitution, which again states, let me give you Section 3. No person shall hold any office, civil or military, under the United States, who having previously taken an oath as an officer of the United States to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. Trump incited this riot and gave aid and comfort to the rioters. Boom, right there. He should be expelled from the ballot. And that's exactly what happened in Colorado. Now you can say, well, but he wasn't charged with insurrection. You don't have to be charged with this crime to be removed, okay? No, the definition, by the way, of an insurrection is that it's an act or instance of revolting against civil authority or an established government through usually violent means. Now, getting to that, right, there was violence on January 6th. And there were weapons used on January 6th. Some of the rioters were armed with guns, stun guns, knives, batons, baseball bats, axes, chemical spray, flagpoles. And many of them were arrested for those weapon charges. And guess what? Trump knew that they were armed. According to testimony from White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson, a Secret Service official had warned Trump that protesters were armed. They had weapons. Trump said, no, I don't care. Let's remove the magnetometers used to detect them so that we could have the armed Trump supporters in the rally. According to Hutchinson, Trump was quoted as saying, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. So I guess, take the magazines, right? Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here. Let the people in and take the mags away. Oh, okay. Now, during the riot, knowing that there were armed rioters in the building with Mike Pence, who was also in the building, and that they were looking for Mike Pence, the whole chant of hang Mike Pence. And when talking about pants, not hang my pants, okay, hang Mike Pence. Where's Mike Pence? We're coming for Mike. When he was told about it, Trump's like, maybe he deserves what he gets. He didn't have the courage to do what needed to be done. That was his own vice president. So yeah, in my mind, insurrection, attempted coup, and guess what? Those courts agreed in Colorado. Now, that said, that's just in Colorado, right? And that doesn't mean that this decision is final either. Donald Trump can appeal this. His lawyers are already planning on it. It's got until January 4th. Immediately, the campaign's like, yeah, of course we're going to appeal. And what this is going to do is it's going to lead to a fight in the Supreme Court, all right? Which will no doubt not only have a gigantic impact on this election, obviously, but hey, this could also lead, basically bleed into his January 6th court cases as well. So it's really important stuff that we are in uncharted territory right here, okay? And I don't think this needs to be underestimated, like how, just where we're at in this moment of history, seeing all this unfold, okay? This can decide more than if Donald Trump is going to be able to run, be on the ballot in one state or two states or whatever. No, this is major, major stuff that is going to have, I think, it's going to set a gigantic precedent, and it's going to be a very, I think, pivotal moment in history, whatever happens from here on in. Buckle up, everybody. It's going to be a hell of a ride.